Hello, Planet Watchers. Hello, Mary Jane. You are in a different location. Where are you?
Oh, yes, I am. I'm coming to you all from a little town there called Subiano, which is just north of Arezzo in Tuscany. We're having a really fine look around in Tuscany. And yeah, a lot of fun. Great people, great food, great scenes, scenery, everything's delightful.
Oh, yeah, I do love Italy so much.
Yeah, it's so
You're
beautiful.
and you're in a little courtyard behind a little tavern.
Yes, yes, exactly. I couldn't
Yeah.
find a very quiet place. 5 o'clock here, and they're all going crazy at setting up the restaurant for this evening. So it might get a little crazy here, but I hope not. I think they're calming down. We should be fine. We should,
A little action in the background. That's okay. So,
right.
we are here to discuss Libra. Before we get to Libra, there's these eclipses. What's going on with the eclipses? We had an eclipse last week, and don't we have an eclipse coming up this weekend?
Well, it should be. Yeah, they usually follow each other 2 weeks apart. Yeah, I didn't look in on it, but I can't think it's a very nice time of year to be doing this because, well, the one it's still in September for us, still in Virgo for us. And it's getting all kinds of interference from Neptune again,
Oh,
Neptune at the end of the sign. And it this creates sloppy thinking and very emotional states of being under a
mm,
full moon. So it's not maybe the easiest one to live through. And Mercury, which is the ruling planet of Virgo after all, is still active in this full moon or new moon, this lunar activity. So what's going to happen is that there will be all sorts of difficulty again in communication, expressing one's feelings. This is important. It's very difficult. What we're going to have to remember through this next eclipse is just to be clear in our thinking and clear in our expression in talking to each other. Think things over 3 times before you get involved in a heavy discussion in any case, and especially out an emotional situation. So that's about most I can say about this coming eclipse.
mm.
Chill out.
Chill out, chill out. Well, I mean, that's true for pretty much every eclipse, right?
It
Chill.
is. It is. I find that this one with Neptune involved is particularly difficult because Neptune creates fuzzy thinking. And with the moon is going to create emotional states that sort of go off. This can be extremely important for inspiration, for your dream life, for seeing new creativity, new scenes. Excellent for that kind of activity. Music is important for you here. But for just day to day living, it's kind of hard and getting along with people.
Well, that's always the order of the day, isn't it?
The bottom line, let's say.
No, as you know, as all of you know who are watching this, I know just enough of astrology to make me dangerous. And so a friend of mine is talking about what Pisces is doing. Pisces going into Saturn or something like that?
No, no. Neptune is leaving Pisces very slowly and will be going into Aries in a month or two, not very long.
Oh, no. This may be something that I am remembering wrong. Maybe it's Saturn going into Pisces or something like that. Anyway, it sounded kind of intense. So I'll shut up about it now because I don't have enough. It's
Well, I don't think I can think who's doing that, but it's definitely something to think about. And we'll talk about Neptune in Aries, which is totally bizarre. It's Neptune is fuzzy thinking and creativity and inspiration and all the rest. In Aries, all you can think of is how much trouble to get into, or yeah, I'll charge ahead. And this is not something Neptune will really set us up to do, or is going to create, windmills in the distance that we're going to be fighting toward. And it can create a lot of very bad situations for us that we think we absolutely have to work on that are maybe not even real. We'll have time to talk about that, I think, next month. But yeah, it is something to think about.
it is something to think about. This is so true. All right. So what else do we have coming up in Libra?
Well, we'll talk about the big picture first of all that's been in the sky, sitting around Uranus, Neptune with Saturn and Pluto are still in this very pretty, solid 60 degrees, 120 degrees Saturn triangle. It's a very logical time, and the gods are telling us that this is a very logical time to be creating and deciding a new world order. We know that the slow planets, the distant planets, have everything to do with societies, with plural, with civilization. This is the sort of timetable for the mounting and falling of empires. Well, that's sort of what's in the sky right now and should be rather logical system for us. However, this new world order is based on air and fire. These heavy planets are in air and fire. And so the whole equilibrium is again based on power. Who's going to get ahead? Who's going to use this explosive energy? Now, this could be a very nice thing, and especially through the beginning of this period of Libra, the Sun and the Mercury as well are making the kite, making this wonderful kite pattern that is natural equilibrium. This is a time when these things are supposed to be happening. But this beautiful pattern that we can take advantage of till the 1st of October is being seriously threatened, perturbed by a very nasty Mars in Scorpio. Now, Mars in Scorpio is at his most potent, dangerous place, his most potent, destructive place. And here he's creating terrible aspects with Pluto, with all of these heavy planets. And so the personal agendas, once again, Mars, Venus isn't helping much. Mars is a personal planet that puts our personal gain, our personal ends above all. And so what happens if the personal agendas of our world leaders are undoing any logical planning that could be going on? So this is why we're seeing the Russians and the Chinese and the Indians over here on one side. US is over here. The Ukraine is in the middle and everybody's fighting over that. And it's just all built again on the personal power that's involved in this otherwise social activity, social planning. I think it's bothersome.
You think it's what?
Bothersome.
Well, at the very least. At the very least. Well, and it's not these big countries. I mean, people here on the ground are at each other's throats.
That's it. And it's again, personal initiative, personal selfishness is taking the place of a logical pattern of thinking. It's always kind of terrible. Also, our friend Mercury is raising its ugly head. It's making now this opposition to Neptune, the 22nd and the 24th of September. Then Venus is square Uranus and making some other problems from the 20th to the 26th of September. So this is just adding to the agitation around all of these highfalutin discussions that are going on and that we read about in the news where absolutely nothing is getting done because the ends and the means are so unclear and so unacceptable to everybody because so terribly selfish and egocentric.
Mm.
So, yeah, it's a rotten time to get anything done on the ground about making peace, finally getting out of these terribly bellicose situations. And this is true on a personal level as well.
Yeah, I mean, very much so. Everybody's just losing their minds on social media at the moment about free speech. Well, you have free, but you don't. And if I say back the hateful things that you don't like about this one thing, then that's hate speech, even though it's your own words that I'm repeating back to you. I mean, it's just like crazy making.
Precisely, precisely. This Mercury opposite Neptune is just too bizarre, we can say and do anything.
Right.
Well, I do have some good news for us.
Oh, good.
Involving Jupiter. Yeah, there's room for that.
Yes, please.
Can't all be one, right?
Right.
Jupiter is making some very nice aspects with the black moon and with the Saturn all month long. This is a very good time for mounting long-term projects, extremely constructive. Jupiter Saturn involves a lot of territory. This is going on in the Earth signs, I believe now. And so we can think about constructing, about building, about organizing some very interesting and long-term projects. There's always a but in here, right? Somebody's but. Anyway, here we see that Jupiter at the same time is square to Chiron, is square to Eris. So we have some legal or moral issues built into here. Yes, you can do a lot of things, but you kind of want to see what the moral aspect of your choices are going to be in the long run. Are people going to be hurt by our decisions? Other people's plans going to be interrupted by things that we want to do? So this is important for us through this very constructive time. Some very good days here are the 25th and the 26th of September, the 5th of October, and the 13th of October are particularly useful for planning, for committee meetings, for signing contracts, doing whatever you have to do with other people. Those are some very good days.
Okay, wonderful. Good to know. Good to know.
Yeah, really. And Mercury is not totally creating problems. He's also in a very good aspect with Vesta and with Uranus from the 22nd, 24th of September, and active with Uranus especially. This is an excellent time to be discussion of household plans. That is to say, moving house, buying, selling, changing your closet, building up a swimming pool, whatever needs done around the home. And also household communication. This is a very good time to be doing all of that. Renovations are always useful, a Uranian period. So that's about the great news I've got from that we'll have to deal with. But those are going to be some useful ideas for most of us, in fact. So that's great. Come back to Mars. Mars doing nasty things. It's
What?
in a square to Pluto, among other things. Now, it's a rough time for cardiac and high blood pressure patients. Also, it's a period where we will be tempted to do some very high level risk taking.
Yeah.
Also, dangerous, exotic sexual encounters. All of these are interesting problems for Mars and for Pluto.
What are those dates again?
Well, the 22nd of September to the 7th of October.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
And then Venus is acting up as far as our various exotic love life. Some of us. Anyway, Venus is in a square to you and in a rather awkward attitude. So again, we're going to see bizarre encounters of the fifth type and can create a lot of sexual energy that may be kind of harmful in long. Everybody's definition of that is very personal, of course. I'm just the messenger.
Well, ultimately, we're all on our own journey. Ultimately, it's up to all of us.
Yes, yes. I just like to point out the periods where we have to think 3 times about getting involved with what looked like potentially dangerous or very complex, especially dangerous with Mars and with this bizarre Venus, dangerous kinds of run-ins. If that's your thing, great. But it's a time when if it's not your thing, you can get in trouble with very difficult people.
Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. Because, some of us are out there dating or trying to, and, we want to stay
For
safe.
sure, for sure. Both of us are kind of curious about our love life.
True. Just about everybody I know is curious about them.
It's a universal problem.
I know that really made me sit up and go, "Ooh, wait, what are those dates again? Mark that off on my calendar. Not available."
Right. Yes, out to lunch, out to lunch. Yeah. Mercury, I come back to my Mercury again because Mercury is going into Libra very soon and is accompanying the sun, of course, into Libra. And Mercury in this pilgrim position, what we call a pilgrim position, doesn't have any particular force. Mercury, though, in Libra, wants to talk it out. He wants to smooth out all the arguments. He wants everybody just to sit down and let's hash out our problems. Conciliation is important with Mercury. So, yeah, when you can do it, it's great. When it feels good. There's one particular difficult time with this Mercury that's opposite to Ceres these days, from the 22nd to the 30th of September. This is the difficult time for parent-child communication.
Oh dear. Okay.
These kids are going back to school. We've got to be there for them, but it looks like it's difficult. It's difficult to help them because they don't necessarily want to hear what we have to say, right? Trouble with our difficulties with the PTA, the parent-teacher communication, school orientation, kids who are starting school, a new school. It's going to be difficult for the parents to help them. This is especially true under an opposition Jupiter to the moon, the 29th of September through the 1st of October. So I'm just pointing this out because I think it's important to find that means of communication that's going to allow the child to understand that you're there to help, you're not there to hurt or get in his way, and to help him in this question of especially new orientation. So that's what I've got. I was interested in some positions of Venus. Think about Venus and Mars. These are our two really personal planets. These are how we choose what we want and how we go after what we want. Now, Venus is in exile, again, a not happy position in Virgo these days.
Mhm.
Now, Venus in Virgo can be very snooty. She's sort of uppity, but in fact, she's very unsure about what she's looking for. Very. So this creates sort of an attraction for clinging controllers. People are going to see this snootiness, first of all, this sort of blase attitude as a target. This is a very interesting person because he or she is so difficult. So it's an automatic target for controllers. And they just want to move in and show you how easy life can be if you turn yourself over to them. Mars, on the other hand, is in an Dharma position, again in Scorpio, where this Mars is dangerous. He's sneaky. He tends to bring out our devil. So if you're going to be Scorpios, particularly, but not always, other people who have a planet that's being hit by this Mars in Scorpio can find themselves doing and saying and acting in very bizarre ways and somewhat dangerous ways. So much for planetary position. So that's really it. Do you have something you wanted to look at?
Well, it just sounds like we're getting more of the same in terms of what's really hot right now is political rhetoric being very nasty, very divisive, and of course, political violence. And it sounds like we've got more of the same next month to expect. So perhaps things need to come to a head before we'll have any ease in that. And it's really a big problem here.
This is often the case. I know in the States particularly, and other spots in the world too, but I know in the States you're going through very difficult political times, political arguments that aren't even arguments, they're just attacks. And this is so typical of Mars in Scorpio, in fact, and Mars in general. I find it particularly dangerous with this square to Pluto because there's room for violent physical attack, kinds of risk taking on that level. So
That's
I
what
don't know. We're going to see some very interesting time.
that's just it, with that very public murder witnessed by so many last week, that really set off a lot of folks. People who had not been particularly vocal before are now suddenly very vocal. And the disparate stories coming out about it. There's different versions of it all coming out, and it's getting very ugly.
I'm afraid so.
Well, this whole year, as you said, the summer was the same type of conjunction that we had in revolutionary times. Same planetary lineup.
That's right. And we're on time. We're right on the schedule with all of that in mind. Huh?
Exactly. We're right on time with that. So I'm thinking mm, there's got to be an end in sight. So maybe it gets worse before it gets better. But there's just on a personal note, there are a lot of people who are dealing with heaviness from these eclipses. We've got the pre period, we've got the shadow period, and a lot of people are just on edge from that too. And communication has been wonky. Bryn Turner Schott and I did a joint book signing in Springfield, Missouri last Saturday. Neither one of us could post about it to Facebook. It just kept kicking us out. And it was like really frustrating. Calls getting missed, technology networking.
I'm sure so. Sure so. Yeah, we might be looking at, especially this first week, and maybe more of the same with this kind of wonky opposition. Mars, or Mercury, and Neptune can really screw up your communications efforts on all levels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we'll have a bit of that still.
Okay. Well, I hope you don't have any problems with technology in terms of getting back to Geneva.
Well, I do too. My friends and I did the old ladies tour of Italy. We took up one of these big auto cars full of gray-haired people down to Italy, and they'll be driving us back next Sunday. So actually, basically, I'm not too
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I know you are.
fantastic, fantastic. I can't even describe.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be a big publicity plug for the mud baths and the hot springs in Abano in Italy. Oh, fantastic. They took 10 years off my birthday. It was wonderful.
Oh, yes, because you had a birthday last Saturday.
I did.
Great.
Now, I was up to here in mud and just felt so good. Delightful.
That sounds lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Right.
Well,
Right.
enjoy your trip and have a safe trip back. And
Thank you. Thank you very much. And I look forward to seeing all of you again in Scorpio.
no.